to our real estate tip of the week.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining in for another session. My name's Azad Chandler.
And I'm Tim Desautels.
For those who are just joining us tonight, and this is your first investment tip of the week, we do it every week. If you have missed all the other tips, they are on our YouTube channel. It's called Crew TV. You can find it on our website. And these tips are designed, Tim, to make you money. And tonight, what we want to talk about is conditions when you have multiple offers, because Tim, for the last 60 days, we've gone into how many multiple offers?
Pretty much every offer we're getting involved with these days, it is multiple offers. Other than if it's a, what would you call it? Off-market property. Yeah. If we have off-market properties, then we just market them to our own investors. But you know, multiple offers are a part of the landscape right now.
Yeah, so we really want to touch base on this, on what you can do about conditions and how much conditions are worth to the seller. First off, Tim, if someone didn't have a finance condition or a property inspection condition, what can they expect, or how much do they have to be prepared to be able to do that?
Well, if you're going to go into an offer with no conditions, really, you have to have solid financing, or it's going to be an all cash offer for you. That is the number one thing that we want to protect our clients when we're going into a real estate deal, is that they have financing in place. Because every offer, when you start off, you have an initial deposit, and that it becomes part of the security to hold the deal during the conditional period. And if you don't go through with or if you waive the conditions and you don't actually have financing, or if you don't have conditions, that deposit will be forfeited if you don't close on the deal.
Yeah, so it gets very, very scary. Now, we're working hand in hand with our mortgage broker, Danielle DeMarco, who's been working with us, Tim, for over 15 years, close to 20 years probably. And we have to fully understand if these people or our buyers can move forward with an unconditional offer. Now, the scariest thing with an unconditional offer in a market like this is prices are out of control, Tim. So people are actually paying well above the list price, and in some cases, well above the appraised value. So This is what everybody has to understand. Not every unconditional offer means that it's going to be a cash offer. There is, Tim, a misconception about that sometimes. Yeah. So if there is a mortgage being placed on a property, the bank will have to send an appraiser in. And if the property doesn't appraise where the person has bought it at that price point, the buyer now, and this is what we need to stress out there because we've seen it time and time again, the buyer now has to come up with the difference between the sale price, what they've agreed to on the sale price, to the appraised price. So if they buy a property for $500,000 and the property's only worth $460,000, the bank will only lend up to $460, and then you'd have to put your 5, 10, 15, 20% down on the $460, and then come up with the other $40,000. So we wanted to totally stress that. Now, on the flip side of that, if you do have a financing condition and you feel like you've not overpaid, but you've paid a good sum for a property, like we sold a property in Braeside recently, and Tim and I were scratching our heads on the sale price because that property a year ago, Tim, how much would that have sold for a year ago?
The Braeside property?
Yeah, not Braeside, Broadwood.
A year ago, that property would have sold for about $425,000.
Yeah, and we sold it with conditions for $500,000. So if that property didn't appraise, because the buyer had a finance condition, he could walk away on the finance condition. So we need to stress that that finance condition is there to protect you in a couple of ways, and especially for you to pay the right amount for the property. Now, what we want to stress on the seller's side with conditions, how do they view the consideration or the fee? We had we had an offer come in at $475 with conditions, and then we had an offer come in at we had an offer with no conditions of $475, and then we had an offer at $500,000 with conditions. And we coached our seller to take the $500,000, not walk away from a $25,000 offer, $25,000 profit on top of what he was going to make anyway, and go with the offer with conditions. So we want to stress that even though we had an offer at $475, no conditions, we advised our client to go for it. Not every seller's going to do that, right?
Yeah, and certain situations arise where if the property has some sort of problem, a leaky basement or a bad roof or something like that, and they get an unconditional offer lower than one with conditions, the seller may take that so they don't have to deal with those problems if they arise in a property inspection or an appraisal or something like that. So sellers are taking unconditional offers lower than other offers if there's an issue with the property and they're afraid that they can't sell it if they go through a property inspection.
Yeah, and that's the other scary thing. So we did go after a property in Okotoks a couple of weeks ago. Tim, I think you went in at 550 and it sold for 520, unconditional. So you know what? There could have been problems that would have come up with that property. And we always believe everything happens for a reason. We had to protect our clients at that stage with conditions, but we were also willing to pay $30,000 more than what it actually sold for, but the seller decided to forego that. So that's our take on having conditions. Every client is in a different situation, so we have to kind of work out exactly where they're at when we're going to buy properties. And the market is turning right now, so this won't last forever, Tim, having no conditions.
Yeah, we've been through this many times before where the market gets really tight. Multiple offers happen, on every second property, but that always calms down because more and more supply comes on, and we're going to see that as the spring market continues. More supply is going to come on, and all of those multiple offers will sort of drift away, and you'll be able to get properties with one single offer.
Yeah, we're doing these investment tips every week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crew TV, so you can start saving or making more money today.